Good day. My name is Sheila Humphreys. I'm from the EECS department at UC Berkeley, and it is an enormous pleasure for me to introduce Professor Amy Wendt, the winner of the Citrus 2024 Athena Academic Leadership Award. I speak on behalf of Professor Michael Lieberman and the entire Berkeley Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Sciences community. Amy Wendt is most deserving of this award because of her distinguished, robust research career and her sustained commitment to increasing diversity in STEM, to mentoring women at the University of Wisconsin and nationally, as well as her campus leadership for the entire Wisconsin community. In the brief time allowed, it's impossible for me fully to cover all of her contributions, particularly because Amy is the soul of modesty. She has embedded diversity initiatives at the pre-college, college, graduate, and faculty levels. So a bit about Amy's background. After graduating from Caltech, Amy enrolled in the PhD program in fusion energy at Berkeley. In her era, women were as scarce as hen's teeth. I think there were 2 other women in the program at that time. But even as a grad student, Amy was looking for ways to improve the climate for women through participation in our graduate women's group, WICSE, Women in Computer Science and Engineering, about which she may speak later. She initiated a study comparing the PhD graduation rates of men and women, which were different, and then provided a questionnaire to investigate the discrepancy between men and women's graduation rates. After a brief postdoc, she joined the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at the University of Wisconsin in 1990, where she has remained teaching, conducting research, and mentoring both students and faculty. She has continuously held increasingly responsible positions of academic leadership. For example, she was co-chair of the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering and was elected to the university's Executive Committee of the Academic Senate. In that role, she worked on implementing a new policy to prevent hostile and intimidating behavior. Again, she will speak about this later. Currently, Professor Wendt is the Associate Vice Chancellor for Research and Graduate Education for the Physical Sciences. Broadly speaking, her charge is to support research in the physical sciences in many ways, from promoting new research initiatives to supporting ongoing research, and she did an outstandingly heroic job during COVID, as her colleagues reported. A summary of her work as Associate Vice Chancellor is really exhausting to read. Continuing, the depth and breadth of her contributions to diversity include service since 2007 as faculty co-chair of Wisconsin's Inclusion in Science and Engineering Leadership Institute, WISELY, which initially was the result of an NSF Advanced grant. WISELY conducts research and programs focusing on workplace climate. Amy annually conducts research for her peers across the campus on topics like how to conduct bias-free faculty searches. She's done this for a long time. And in my experience, normally it's high-level staff conduct these workshops, but Amy does them herself. One of the grant programs she has helped to create provides bridge funding for faculty when personal life events and crises result in their loss of research funding. Since 2004, Amy has read every single application to this program. She has not limited her efforts to the university level, but has also addressed pipeline issues based on her concern of the lack of young women entering engineering. She developed instructional materials and curriculum to introduce and to interest middle school girls in engineering, and has contributed journal articles on these intervention programs. I could continue on and on. One of Amy's colleagues describes her as tireless, thoughtful, and wise, and another calls her simply a rock star. It's now my pleasure to introduce to you Amy Wendt.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for the kind introduction, Sheila. I would like to express my deep gratitude to those who make this all possible, the Edge and Tech Athena Awards, and the light that they shine on the amazing accomplishments and impact of all the recipients. I'm truly humbled to be in their company and honored to receive this award. My own journey in tech goes back to my time as a graduate student in the electrical engineering and computer science department at UC Berkeley, starting over 4 decades ago. I would like to acknowledge the supportive mentorship of my PhD advisor, Michael Lieberman, as well as that of Sheila Humphreys, who introduced me today. During my 6 years at Berkeley, where I launched a research career in plasma technology with my own research focused on plasmas for microchip fabrication, a truly transformative experience for me was the warm community and advocacy of a trailblazing student organization, WICSE, Women in Computer Science and Engineering. Not until my experiences in WICSE did I learn that I was truly a legitimate member of the engineering community with much to offer it. I would also like to take a moment to recognize Sheila Humphreys, who was and is a shining model of how we can make a difference as individuals. My own cohort in WICSE benefited immeasurably from the strong support and guidance that Sheila provided to the organization as well as to us as individuals. And for decades at Berkeley, she has played an enabling role to so many students in developing peer organization and their own leadership skills. Sheila's work continues today, and it's an honor for me to be recognized through her nomination for the Edge in Tech Athena Award for Academic Leadership. Today, we are honoring just a few who've made huge inroads in closing the gaping disparities I witnessed at the beginning of my career. However, recent national statistics show that still only 25% of undergraduate engineering degrees in the U.S. go to women, and the figure is about 16% in electrical and computer engineering. Underrepresentation for people of color and gender minorities is even more severe. This slow pace of change is frustrating to me. I know that because of persistent stereotypes, the engineering profession is missing out on enthusiastic and capable young people who could bring fresh perspectives to engineering challenges, and that those same young people are missing out on the opportunity to truly make a difference in the world through rewarding careers in engineering. Accelerating the rate of change requires a multifaceted approach to both attract a more diverse population of new engineers and to create work environments in which all engineers thrive and reach their full creative potential. With this goal in mind, in my 30-plus years on the engineering faculty at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, I've sought to contribute to and initiate a variety of programs targeting different career stages, and we'll highlight a couple of examples here. A few years back, I was motivated to launch an experiment in middle school engineering classroom curriculum after seeing survey results showing very low interest in engineering careers among high school students, with the hypothesis that the lack of interest stemmed from stereotypes about engineering and a lack of understanding of the central role that engineering can play in addressing many of the challenges we face as a society. Our NSF-supported study sought to remedy misperceptions and to broaden engagement by working with middle school math and science teachers to develop hands-on instructional modules that embedded math and science standards in storylines inspired by the National Academy's Engineering Grand Challenges. This approach offers the opportunity for all students to experience engineering and its role in addressing societal challenges in a math and science instructional setting. Our pilot demonstrated the potential of this approach to addressing the pipeline problem. Many of the initiatives I have been involved with at UW-Madison target equity and inclusion in the workplace environment. I was involved in the development of a hostile and intimidating behavior policy for faculty and then led the rollout effort after the UW Faculty Senate voted to adopt the policy. It provided for the very first time the possibility of recourse against bullies and others whose egregious interpersonal behavior disrupts the work of others on campus. My work on the hostile and intimidating behavior policy dovetails with my work as faculty co-director of the campus research center known as WISELY, the Wisconsin Inclusion in Science and Engineering Leadership Institute. Many of WISELY's initiatives target workplace climate and take an evidence-based approach. My WISELY colleague, Jen Sheridan, has run the Survey of Faculty Work Life for over 20 years now, collecting longitudinal data on how faculty experience the institution over time. The data are used to track and analyze the impact of campus initiatives, as well as the effectiveness of WISELY programs, including searching for excellence in diversity, hiring workshop, and breaking the bias habit, both workshops developed and conducted by WISELY. These evidence-based workshops are popular at UW and sought after by many other institutions. Japanese translations of the guidebooks for these two workshops were just published last year, resulting from a partnership between WISELY and Osaka Metropolitan University to support their efforts to increase representation of women at a regional consortium of universities. Our partnership also led to a group of OMU engineering students making a 3-week exchange visit at UW in 2019. Nearly half of the students were women, even though the representation of women in engineering is even lower in Japan than it is in the US. And finally, I will close with just a few words about my current role as Associate Vice Chancellor for Research. In that role, I have the opportunity to examine rules and practices for a number of initiatives that provide research support and opportunities on our campus. I would like to share my surprise and delight to find in doing so that while it can be very difficult to change campus policies, changes to procedures can be made much more easily and sometimes can be used to make long-standing programs more equitable. And with that, I would like to recognize all of my colleagues who have been involved in the initiatives that I talked about today, and thank you once again for this great honor.